okay, how to create inner changes for outer improvement. Even just visualizing yourself being wrapped up in a love blanket
Yeah, yeah.
is an
Is
inner change because you for outer improvement. But even that, just visualizing yourself in a protection bubble,
mhm.
snow globe is
Snow
more.
globe, as might say. Yeah.
The glitter falling down on me, any of that sort of stuff is that visualization. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, dear
Mm.
listeners, that is
Anyway,
how we connect our energy. We encourage you to grab a note-taking device, pen, pencil, whatever it is for you, because we want to like really, like I said, we're going to go riffing on lots of different ideas around this whole concept of creating inner changes for outer improvement.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
hi.
Hello, my dear. Hello, listeners. Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset podcast conversations. And I am superbly excited about this conversation today.
Superbly, superbly.
Superbly. Oh, she's teasing me about my accent. Or I don't have an accent. What are you talking about?
No accent. No accent.
We're going to talk about creating inner changes for outer improvement. Oh, just feels so good. So yummy. But before we get into our conversation, we like to kind of bring our energies together, all of us, into this present moment. Regardless of where you are in the world, we can create a wee moment of connection, of bringing us all into heart coherence. So wherever you are, I encourage you to perhaps just put one or both hands over your heart and take a really big, deep breath in. Hold slightly at the top and then sigh it out with a long, slow out breath. Good. And then one more. And as you breathe in this time, set the intention that you're dropping a cord down into Earth's core, claiming your space, anchoring yourself into Earth's core, feeling that connection. And now as you breathe in, feel that loving support. Mother Earth loves us so, so much. It's such an important thing to just pause and breathe it in. Good. And now what I'd like you to do is envision, pretend, intend that you're sending a cord of connection, a beam, a stream of connection up into the universe. Source energy, connecting, sending that all the way up and feeling that connection. And now as you breathe into your heart space, feel that nurturing, loving, honoring energy coming down into your heart. Feeling grounded, feeling anchored, feeling connected to source energy and Mother Earth. And now intending and feeling that you're breathing in and out of your heart space. And that as you do this, you send a beam or a stream or a ribbon, whatever color is right for you, out into the planet, connecting with all the other people who are listening to this episode, regardless of when they listen to it. We still energetically can connect this way. And when we do that connection, we can imagine that we are co-creating, that we are contributing to a beautiful blanket of loving energy that blankets the entire planet, the entire energy being available to all beings around the planet. It just makes you feel good to do that kind of connection.
You just get so wrapped up.
Yes, that's it. That's the blanket.
not
You get
wrapped
to
up,
wrap up into it, wrap you up into that beautiful love blanket.
Yeah, not the wrapped up, wound up tight, all that
Yeah,
sort of
no,
just
not
like
that kind. Wrapped up in this beautiful love blanket. And it's always there. I like to always remember that it's always there. And all you need to do, regardless of where you are and when you are, you just need to put your hands on your heart again and breathe into it. And it's right there. That's actually a fundamental piece around creating inner changes for outer improvement, wouldn't you say?
I know. I was just Googling like, okay, how to create inner changes for outer improvement. Even just visualizing yourself being wrapped up in a love blanket
Yeah.
is an
Is
inner change because you for outer improvement. But even that, just visualizing yourself in a protection bubble, snow globe is
snow globe, as my say. Yeah.
the glitter falling down on me, any of that sort of stuff is that visualization. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, dear listeners, that is
Anyway.
how we connect our energy. We encourage you to grab a note-taking device, pen, pencil, whatever it is for you, because we want to really, like I said, we're going to go riffing on lots of different ideas around this whole concept of creating inner changes for outer improvement. It's actually something that's often spoken of, but I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about it simply because of the discombobulating times that we do live in. So I think that that's sometimes a hard reminder for people, when they see the chaos and the suffering and the OMGing going on. It's like, oh yes, but if I want outer improvement, it has to start internally first, right?
Yeah. And I think that makes me think, is this mine or is it others?
Yeah.
Because other people go, oh, you need to do this. You need to do this, or you should do this, or it would be wise, is my one if I want to get anyone to, it'd be wise if you did this.
Yes, I like that one better.
Yeah. But any of that, is it actually yours? If this improvement that you're going for is yours, or is it because other people think you should be doing it? I think that's the thing is this your thought and energy? Which takes me to, the three questions. The good. Is this good for me? Is this good for others? Or do I want to do it? And I think that's it. Is it mine or others? Which can then go into, oh, it's somebody else's. Okay. Or, oh, this is mine. If it's yours consciously, you're already thinking you're going to do it anyway. So I don't think you need to ask those good questions. But if you've got that hesitancy, then yes, definitely. But is it good for me? Is it good for others? And do I want to do it? And it's a heck yes or a, and if it's an,
then it's a
that's
no.
me. That's me pausing and pulling back people who can't see on the podcast. Then it's a no. Then it's a no. Yeah. Yeah.
But you see, so I think the other part to remember with this, because you're saying, is this improvement or is this thing that you're wanting or striving towards, is it yours or is it something you inherited or somebody shoulded you?
Sort of, yeah.
But where I'm coming from is that sometimes I think that when we see chaos and suffering and turmoil outside of us, because we can and we do.
Oh, yeah. If you can't have your blinkers on all the time, but yeah.
But then it's to look at what can I do? Because that something that's been talked about a fair bit of late is number one, doom scrolling, and
Oh, sorry. I can
and
feel that.
and then the other one is called it keeps coming up for it. I see it talked about brain rot, about
Oh,
being plugged into the electronics and basically doom scrolling and like really getting distracted and pulled
Wow.
into. So it's almost like we want to see outer improvement and we keep looking at this is wrong and this is falling apart and this is chaotic and this is terrible and look at this and there's this and there's this. What inner changes can you create?
Yeah.
Right? So maybe the inner changes that you can create is number one, disconnect from media for a bit. In fact,
Oh.
I would say that I think it's an essential component of self-care to unplug from all media every day, at least once a day, if not twice. And
Can we add what media is? Because we know what media is, but media is also my mother telling me, Deborah, did you listen on Talkback?
oh
Can we
yes,
also add that media in there? Bless my mother. Oh, I'm listening to Talkback. Did you know? Thanks, Mum. But she is my media.
right.
She's the one because I don't watch the news. I don't
Yeah,
scroll on the.
neither do I. I say that I hear the news through clients because I don't watch it either.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's your media right there,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's actually, did you know this? And though, but I have to giggle because I don't I say I don't look at the news. I literally got on the call with
Oh
Moira
yeah,
this
you
morning
did.
and went, "Oh, did you know Trump's done this?" And we laughed.
Yes, because
I'm
that's
allowed.
just how we roll.
That's yeah, and we laughed, and then that was it. I didn't even open the thing, but it came up very funny because it came up on my phone. I'm like, why am I getting notified of Trump's antics? What's going on? And I giggled, and I said that to Moira this morning. But we are both people who don't connect to the media. We
No.
don't, and so my media is my mum. Goes, Deborah, did you know this happened? Or da da da.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I just made a note that so my tip or my suggestion was to unplug because if you are on media and that could just be Facebook or emails or news alerts popping up on your screen, but it can also be other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Because I have a client who completely ridicules me about the not listening to the news because he's like, well, you have to know, you have to.
Oh God.
But why? What, why? What does me knowing what's happening on the political front, what does it do?
I know, and I find we have a thing just in New Zealand called the good sorts, and good sorts are once a week. There's a people vote for a good sorts, like a bloody good bloke we say, or a good bloke or a Sheila,
Yeah.
male or female, and we talk and they do a report on that particular person,
Oh,
like
how
the good
lovely.
sorts could be Moira because she does this and she gives charity to this and she does this, and they do a little a 5 minute section, and it's kind
That's
of cute.
that's
And
beautiful.
I love that.
Mm.
Although I haven't seen it, I don't even know if they still do it, but it's called the Good Sorts. Yeah, and it used to be every Friday, at the end of the week on the news. And I love that because it actually made, for me, it actually made journalism nice. And you
Hmm.
actually see there's good people out there, if you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to be called the Good Sorts. That was the only media I used to watch.
Well,
Is
there's
the
in fact talking about that and not sure if it's still going. There was this woman, I think she's based in the States, but she had a I think it was weekly that went out and it was called the Good News Network.
Oh yeah.
And she would make it her purpose that she would gather stories and YouTube clips and headlines of beautiful, uplifting, positive stories. Those are the types of things
That's
I subscribed to that for quite some time. I haven't seen it for a while. Good News
Oh,
Network.
all the good people have stopped. That's
Yeah.
it. They're done. They're doomsday scrolling. But I think when we just with that disconnect from media, that just even this conversation here is beautiful to go other people's opinions. Is this mine or others?
Yeah.
Like, Mum, bless her. Did you hear? I listened to Talkback and this is what happened. And I'm like,
Right.
Mum, those people have nothing else to do but ring up and moan.
Yeah.
Oh no, but got good ideas. Have they? Mum, but be cautious that you're not jumping into somebody else's storybook
Yeah.
again. So I think that's a beautiful recap of what we've just talked about.
Yeah. 100%. Just as a spin-off, and I'm putting this as a separate tip, is I ask you and I invite you to check in to see what is your BS?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to pause for a moment because now everybody's thinking, oh my God, Moira.
No, Moira,
I'm
don't.
talking about belief system. So what is your belief system and does it serve you? Why I was thinking of that was telling you about that conversation with that client. His belief system is that you have to listen to the news, that it's actually of great value to know all of the things and the nuances and what the politicians are saying, and that's his belief system. It's not mine.
Yeah.
So I think it's an important part too, because one of the things, Deb, that you often say in our tips is to remember that everything's movable.
Yeah.
So even your own belief system isn't set in stone. So does it serve you? Does it serve that requirement of inner changes? Maybe letting a belief system go that's outdated and outmoded and not supportive creates that inner change in order to ripple out into the cosmos around you,
Yeah.
right?
I think I think the other thing is I go into this and you're just talking about that is having no judgment on yourself
Mhm.
and others about their beliefs.
Yes,
I think I had a great call yesterday with my mentor, and we actually yeah, surprise, and we went down the judgment category. We went down that how it's taking people definitely out of their heart and out of their
definitely.
purpose, out of who they are, out of their core, because they're going into that spiraling, and it just really landed on me then just when we were talking about that. Yeah.
Well, I think that that's an important one to just have all of its own, is no judgment on yourself and others, because that then leads me into talking about the four agreements. Because when we have no judgment on ourselves and others, we can actually acknowledge and accept that we are all doing the best we can, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the four agreements: to be impeccable with your words, to not take things personally, to not make assumptions, and to always do your best. But and just saying, you see, the other part of that is that can create the most beautiful inner changes. When we say, just for today, I'm going to be impeccable with my word to myself about myself. Just for today, I'm going to not take anything personal. So not take any judgments or anybody else's, you should be listening to this or you should be following that. Don't take it personally. It's not about you.
Yeah. I love the just for today because people who just want a quick fix or a short fix or to take the red pill or the green pill or the purple pill or the gold pill, but to take that pill can just go, okay, just
Yeah.
for today. And it allows you to funnel your vision, your 5-year vision, into just for today, I'm going to start doing this. Just for today, I'm going to focus on the four agreements. Just for today, I'm going to look at the judgment on myself and others. Just for today. And it all adds up. So it just makes your bigger vision down to something simple,
Tangible
actionable.
that you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It dials down overwhelm,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That it takes away overwhelm, because if somebody says, that one that I said, that the one of the four agreements is don't take things personally. So many times people will say that, oh Moira, that's so hard. That
I think that's literally the everyone that people say to me, don't take, and I'm like, oh, that's the easiest in my head. It's literally because my head just goes, it's not my shit. Oh, I mean, it's just not my stuff. Beep, 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 beep,
bleep,
beep, beep. It's not my stuff. And so that's my easiest out of all of them.
right.
And people go, oh, that's the hardest, don't it?
I
And I'm like,
know.
oh, wow.
I know. And that is in
Maybe
conversation,
we
people,
maybe we could do a whole podcast about not taking things personally.
that's a good idea. I
I'm
think
going
that
to
that's
write a
a
note
really
of
good
that.
idea, because that, see, not taking things personally is such a fundamental piece around creating inner changes. It's
Mm,
it's like, so even if somebody's saying to you, oh gosh, you're a loser in this, or you're not doing good enough in that, that's their opinion. Thanks. The inner change is, I rock. I'm good at this. I love this. I'm happy here. I'm at peace here. Right?
which is trust.
It's Yes, here we go. Some
Here
of
we
our
go.
fundamental ones. Yeah, absolutely. Creating inner changes trust is such a, it's funny because trust has been coming up a lot in my client conversations this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that and you and I've talked about this before. I firmly believe that trust is an inside job,
It is.
meaning it is. You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
gotta trust yourself first. And that in itself, the more you can trust yourself of I've got this. You know, I can't see the answer or the best choice or the way through this right now, but I trust that I'll recognize it when it shows up. I trust that I would not be in this situation if I didn't have a way through it. So it's about taking one step at a time and allowing that actually then facilitates that outer improvement that you may be trying to facilitate or recognize or create, right?
Well, I was just thinking then, I was just thinking about exercise and eating, and most New Year, everyone goes, I'm going to lose all this weight, and I'm going to eat, and I'm going to exercise, and they join a gym, and 3 days later, they're not doing it.
There's no
But
point in doing it.
but I think even that sort of stuff, creating that inner change for your outer improvement, you have to trust that what you're eating and the exercise is happening right now within you. So you may go to the gym and you may eat healthy that morning and you may do some exercise, and then you look at your body that night and you're like, oh, nothing's happened, nothing's changed. Well, yes, you're right. 24, not
24
even
hours
12
isn't
hours
enough.
later. Yeah, 12 hours later, no, you don't have abs. Sure. Yes,
Mm.
and you've still got that. And so then you go back the next day. But even that knowing that changes, the trust is knowing the change is happening inside.
Yeah.
It's happening in your mindset and your body's feeling it because you know it happens inside because you get on the toilet and you can't get off the blooming toilet. That's when you go, why haven't I got old people handrails? I say old people handrails. Sometimes we do too hard. Says me who doesn't like exercise at all. But so the change is actually already started, but we are not seeing that. So that creating that inner change from your eating in your gym is actually already started, and we cannot see the shifts. We can't see, and that's why they say take photos of your body because you can't see the difference. And and then you look and you go, oh yes, I do, but maybe that day I hadn't. Then you start doubting yourself. But trust is a real valuable asset to have on your side.
100% agree with you. But you know, right next to trust, the next tip I would suggest is patience.
Ah.
I know, and I can be quite impatient myself sometimes too. But why I'm saying that is we're talking about inner changes, creating inner changes, but change starts on a very subtle level. Like your example of like, okay, I ate healthy, I ate salads today. How come I can't see that on the
Why have I not
scale?
got abs?
Why didn't the scale show that I dropped?
That I starved myself and I had to do a whole mindset meditation before I could eat the thing and
Yeah.
visualize the whole thing.
So it's patience that change does start at a subtle level. But you know what's really magical when we do give ourselves patience and grace and ease, that at one point, all of the little baby steps, you then look at it and it almost looks like a big quantum leap. It's actually how quantum leaps happen, right?
Well, it's all step by step. It's
It
all
is.
step by step, but we don't often see it. But you're right. It is the simplicity of that. Patience uh, is a learning experience for me. But I actually want to jump back to the word improvement, which I'm surprised we're three-quarters of the way through or so, and here we
Oh,
are
and
now.
here's Deb's going to unpack words now. Good.
Unpack the word improvement because improvement implies you're not perfect. So I want to just go, you're perfect the way you are. Yes, 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 yes. However, the caveat is you don't ever want to stay in the position you're in. There's always a level up for you to do because the moment you decide you don't ever want to level up, that's it, you're done. Your whole purpose of everything's
Yeah,
over and out,
yeah,
basically. So
yeah.
improvement is not because you're bad or you're really any of that stuff. Improvement is there's still room for me to evolve. And I want to just really want to emphasize that word because people go, oh, improvement means you're perfect. You're not looking at how perfect you are the way you are. Yes, you are perfect right here, right now. However, there's always room for a little level up, little level up, or a big level up, or eat salad to level up, whatever you want. But I just really want to smash that word improvement.
And I like that you brought that in, but the other part that I would say too is about it's gratitude. I'm going to just bring in the gratitude
Oh,
around the
how did we not
improvement.
get that in there?
I
Yeah.
don't know. We're slipping, obviously. Well, maybe that's because we're just into the inner changes a bit too much.
Yeah, maybe we're, yeah. Because
But
it's a
what I'm
given.
thinking of when you said about improvement, I'm thinking about if I'm really grateful for and I celebrate what is, then there's a sense of play that comes up in me, or a kind of like, oh, what else is possible? If this is so awesome and auspicious, what else is possible? Because like you say, life is an evolution. We're constantly evolving and becoming more expanded, more true, more connected. But it's not there's something wrong with you, so you have to do your work, you have to improve. It's when we really immerse ourselves in gratitude. There's, to me, and maybe it's just because I'm weird. I'm thinking maybe it's because it's like, oh, if this is so yummy and juicy and fun, what else might I be able to discover or find or enjoy even more, right?
Yeah. And I think that's that excitement. That's, oh, I've got
Yeah,
something
yeah.
to like. So when I have a problem, I go, oh, I've got something to work on. Now, when something smacks me in the face, my head goes, I don't go, oh, I've got something to work on. I go,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then
don't,
you reframe.
and then I'll go, okay, this is a goodie. You know it's a goodie because it's really stirred you up. Now let's celebrate. You've got something to work on. And just by that, even if I don't feel it, I'm literally psyching my brain or something to think different.
Right.
So it's oh let's move. Let's like okay, let's go. Instead of sitting in that negative headset mindset, clutter as such.
So that's you're talking about when like a challenge or something that discombobulates you comes up. And I
Yeah.
think that is the reaction. We might cuss and swear and maybe have a wee
Yeah,
tantrum or
realistically,
something.
I'm not gonna go, oh yeah, I've got something to work on as
Right.
I've got the car run over my toe. Oh yeah, I've got something to work on. No, let's go into yeah. Don't know where the car over my toe happened, but anyway.
That happened to me once a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um, um, but what I'm thinking of is that at some point, so yes, we're going to have the human reaction to the discombobulation, but there's a place in me that comes into, oh, but everything's for me. Nothing's
Ah,
against me.
yeah.
So even the challenge and the discombobulation and maybe the car on your toe, but it's for you. There's a so that's an inner change in itself, is that yeah, we can cuss that like, God, why did this happen?
Yeah.
It's for me. What's the gift? What's the wisdom? What's the blessing? What's the
What's the
celebration?
yeah, the beautifulness in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I think when I think about this, I think give yourself credit.
Mm,
Like give yourself actually like you're human having human experiences, and if you want to do the inner change for your outer improvement, if you want to do any change, like feel it, like go okay, like just um take a day, take some time to actually feel it, and before you do anything, you don't have to just instantly go okay, there's a problem, I got to deal with it. Like just
right.
sit, feel it, and look, and that comes back to that celebrate and that gratitude, see the beauty in it, see what you're dealing with, because when you're not in a discombobulated state, you can actually see things clearer.
Yeah. So it's like
Just
calming your nervous
calm
system.
your
So like,
bum.
I knew you were going to say that. But yeah, feel into it and contemplate it and be kind. So become present to,
Yeah,
huh, like, huh, I want to change something. So what's the first best step?
Curiosity, like,
Yeah, curiosity is a very important one.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Look at what I
but it
get to
don't have
do.
to be a bull in a china shop. You can just, okay, let's just feel this out. Let's go with this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that actually kind of beautifully interacts with what I was just saying. Everything is for me. If everything's for me, I don't have to rush or change everything all at
Not against you.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to change everything at once. But I've often said this, that permanent change is created in baby steps.
Mm.
So if it's slow and there's patience in there, if it's slow, it's permanent. And I've shared with you before about me losing weight.
Oh, yeah.
I did it. It came off very slowly, but I kept reminding myself, slow is permanent. Coming off slow is permanent. And I've maintained that weight loss for over a year.
Yeah, that's the difference, because when you do it diligently and methodically, consistently, when you do things like that, you get a longer lasting
Yeah.
impact than you do when you're bull in a china shop.
Yes. And then
That,
and you don't kind of extract the yumminess from the experience if you do the bull in the china shop, because like, yeah, you've got a lot of mess around you and
yeah.
gosh,
Um,
all this broken glass all around me.
exactly. Exactly. Well, I think, yeah. But the inner change is, if you're I'm going to say, not the warnings. You see little things that come up, and they come up as a little reminder each time. So you mentioned the word before, being present, and I think that's a real present and feeling it. Like we just talked about that being your human, but
Mhm.
being present, and actually, when you're present, you can actually see things around you, and it's a different space.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to look at this inner change for your outer improvement, um, be present, because that's when you can actually truly see
Mm.
and detach from the emotion to it, I guess.
Yeah. So that would be like being present and acknowledging what is there and evolving your awareness. There's
Yeah.
my favorite question. How does this make me feel about me?
Yeah.
That comes right into how does it make me feel about me? It makes me feel, and that can actually help you choose the right pace of what size of first step am I going to take,
Mm.
right? And like I like what you said about being methodical. It's just, one step at a time.
Yeah.
That's how we create change, is one step at a time, right?
And I guess when you think about that, I'm going to throw the tip in here that Moira and I are here. Just took us this long to get to this point, but Moira and I are here because we we create change,
Yes, we
uh,
do.
and actually change creates us. Sometimes,
True,
sometimes change
true
is
that.
us, and we're on that train and away we go. And at the moment, we're both going through a bit of a change, and our podcast is looking at things a little bit differently. So the inner change. Before you see the outer improvement, people, we're doing the inner change right now. We're
Yep.
going through
It's
little,
in process right this very moment as we
yeah.
speak.
And I think, and that just goes back to who have you got on your team? Who's in your inner
Mm,
circle? Who are those people that are important to you, who can hold you up, hold that energy, keep nudging you forward, keeping you realistic in this journey of life, holding space, energy, and clearing your mindset blocks all the way. You know, Moira and I are great at that. That's it. I reach out
what we
to
do.
Moira when I get in a pickle, and she doesn't reach out to me. But
Oh, I do. There was
oh,
a
actually, hang on. Yeah, maybe the last 6 months more than she ever has in the last 8 years I've known
yes.
her, or 7 years or something. But
So
when,
you know that I do it when I need to.
yeah, when interchange happens very quickly, and I think that's the thing, is having the right people
Yeah.
are important for us to have around. Now, whether that's your family or friends, they are invested in a completely different way than what we're invested.
Mhm.
We can be unemotional to your belief systems, and we can come from a heart place. When I say unemotional, I don't mean that sounded a little bit like I've got no heart. I know what I mean.
No, there's no agenda or attachment to something. It's just
Yes.
holding space, right? And I like that, and you're right. You and I, this is our profession, and we do walk our talk.
Mm,
One of the things that comes up is in this is that if you have a tribe member that's not suiting you anymore, because we're all doing our work, we're all up leveling and evolving and processing, we don't always resonate with the same tribe
mm,
as we evolve. And so it's really to give yourself permission. If you're not vibing with certain people anymore, that's okay. Maybe you outgrew them. And maybe that is when it's time to, call in a Deb or a Moira to hold
mm,
space for you and to riff about what's the next best step. And I'm saying that because as I go through this huge transformation that I've been going through for the last sort of several months now,
yeah.
I'm watching and realizing there's certain people that are coming into my life, and then there's others that are kind of just falling away. And
Yeah.
I think that there's nothing wrong with them or me. It's just the way it is. And so creating
Evolution.
inner change is just being very present and very aware to, okay, sometimes that just means being the observed and the observer, right?
Yeah. I just I love that. And I think I know we're coming up time for this, but I also want to just throw in a little tip, is there's nothing to fear here.
Mm.
I really would like to emphasize that, because, well, if you got Moira and I on your back, in your back pocket, there's nothing to fear. But there's a step when we go to do change, we are fearful.
Yes.
Most people are fearful. Is this going to upset others? Is this going to upset me? Is this going to change my whole world? How's this going to change my dynamics? But know that, even in relationships, who you married is not that person now. Who you were last week is not that person. Who you were when you were, who I was as a mum. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
still a mum. Dear Sophie, thank you. But who I was as a single mum is not who I am now. I was a
No.
single mum in my 20s. I'm in my 50s now. Who I am is very different. And I think that's that evolving that we do, but it's, you don't have to be fearful of it, is
Yeah.
my thing, because you've survived things before and we've got through.
Yep.
But it's just part of the journey on life. I think I want to emphasize that.
Yeah, and so if fear comes up, you can take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, get
Mm.
that love blanket around you, and
Yeah,
say, I've got this,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And I've got it because Moira and Debz are backing me as
Yeah.
well.
Yep. I've got the team on my side.
So I've got the earthly angels and the devils. I've got them. I don't need anyone else getting into my head right now. I'll just stick with those two. They're balancing me.
Yep.
So let's wrap this up, because I'm sure there's going to be another one or two at the very end. Because
Oh, I'm sure there usually is.
let's wrap this up for today's podcast, is create inner changes for outer improvement. Oh, here we go again. Deb's really great at this. I have Moira's going to start.
Okay, I'll start.
What's your favorite tip? So grab your note-taking device, people, if you didn't get it at the start, and let's go.
So the
Yeah.
first one I have is the visualizing. So
Yeah.
visualizing yourself. So you know how I took us through that heart coherence, that grounding, connecting to the universe exercise. And then I had us visualize a blanket. We co-created this love blanket. So visualize yourself wrapped in that. Or you can do what, and Deb brought that into the snow globe. I like to encourage people to envisage themselves in their own protective bubble, which to me it looks like a snow globe. Mine is filled with purple glitter. Yours would be filled with gold glitter. But that's such an important piece around creating inner changes, is that you are the commander of your universe. So visualize yourself being protected and wrapped up in that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just such a simple tip, just such a simple tip that can have impact. The next tip I have is this mine or others?
Mhm.
Is this my idea, or is it others' idea, or is this mine or others? It's very simple, but which took me to the next question is Moira's subjects. Moira's three questions.
My
Is
three
it good for,
questions.
yeah, is it good for others, and do I want to do it?
Yep.
And it's just the 3G questions or 2G questions. But if you don't want to do it or there's a hesitation, it's a no. That's
Yep.
it. Park it. So it does not mean you don't want to do it ever. It means right
Just
now I
for
don't
right
want to do
now.
it.
Mhm.
And right now, that's it. I'm just going to put it to the side. So is this mine or others, which goes to that, is it good for me? Is it good for others? And do I want to do it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The next one I have, we talked a fair bit about this one, was I suggested disconnecting, unplugging from media, social
Yeah.
media, and that's what you were saying too, is that social media, or like doom scrolling on Facebook or things of that nature, or just the news headlines, but also that it can come from other people. You know, you've got the other people saying, "Oh, did you see such and such?" and this is what's happening, right?
Mum.
So disconnect from that. And I suggested doing it at least once a day, but I would prefer you did it twice a day, and for like half an hour at a time, if not more.
Even when we think about disconnect from it, it's a habit for us. The news comes on at 6 o'clock. Well, back in the day, it used to be like, oh, news is coming on at 6. We'll sit down and watch the news.
Right.
But if the news comes on at 6, then change your habit. Make sure you're outside at 6 o'clock
Yeah.
or something. Like actually go do something and not just sit there and read a book looking at the TV that's turned off, because it's definitely going to mind challenge you.
Yep.
But move yourself from the situation in that scenario and
Yeah.
just
Go
see.
outside.
Yep.
Go outside. Plug into nature. Unplug from media and plug into nature.
Yeah.
There you go.
Apart from if you're in Brisbane at the moment, because we've had a cyclone there.
Oh, okay.
Australia.
Don't do it there then.
Maybe not plug into that kind of nature there.
Yeah, no.
But anywhere else, go for it. Yeah. If it's safe. That's
If
it.
it's
There you
safe.
go.
Yeah, there you
Safe.
go. Mhm.
You're doing things that are safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Create interchanges out of improvement. Ensure it's safe.
Yes.
Yeah. The next one I've got here is, what is your BS?
What's your BS?
What's your BS? Means belief system. Moira rewords a few words. So, what is your belief system? And this is important for you to actually go, is this yours or is this mine? A great one again. What is your belief system? Especially if you're watching the news or the media or doom scrolling or anything like that. What is your belief system? And taking yourself back to that. Is this real or is this not?
Yeah. Because sometimes we can have belief systems that are inherited, that you kind of go, my gosh, where did that come from? Oh, that was my dad's idea. I don't have to carry that anymore.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it does, because people sell
It
apples,
does.
Mum.
Yep.
Yeah, people sell apples.
The next one I have is no judgment. No judgment on yourself or others. That's such an important piece, to that we're all doing the best we can. We're all, and that's a really important one too, right? The no judgment and the always doing your best. Because this is another conversation I often have with people, is like, I'll say that, can you accept that you were doing your best? And that, well, no, because I could have done this and I could have done that. But that's such a tricky, sneaky one, because you might have done it because you've got the wisdom and the experience right here, right now, but you didn't then.
Yeah.
And so that's I call that a form of self-abuse when people do that. It's like when they should themselves, or they like say I did something terrible, and then you unpack it and it's like, well, it was 20 years ago and they hadn't, learned all this life experience, and yet this version of them is judging that version that didn't have that wisdom.
That's so well. I mean, look at me. I mean, my daughter's favorite growing up food was Chinese rice, and Chinese rice was boiled rice with a stock cube, like a beef stock cube
Right,
sprinkled
right. Yeah,
like a oxo, yeah, that sort of
that's the
stuff.
oxo cube.
Yeah, the oxo cube. But for my daughter, like that was the best I could do back then.
Mhm.
Now, different. But I think having that judgment, and my daughter still goes, I'm like, what do you want for, if I'm there? And I'm like, what are you cooking for dinner? She goes, oh, I just want a blah day. I'm just going to have Chinese rice. And I just giggle. I giggle. I think, oh, if Nana knew you were having Chinese rice again. And I apologize to all the Chinese if that's just, it's probably, actually, as I say that, it could be seen as uh, insensitive to your culture, and it's not meant to be. Just in case anyone's worried about that, it is not meant to be.
It's just a word. It's just a
It's
name.
just a
Yeah.
thing that I've had when I was 26, when I had
Yep.
my daughter. Actually,
Yep.
28, yeah, back then. But yeah, having that judgment is a real health kick, because the more judgment you have in yourself, your health goes all out, because you're not sleeping. Your PEMS is out of order.
Yes, 100%.
And I'm not talking about PEMS because everybody knows what PEMS are today.
Physical,
Physical.
emotional, mental, and spiritual. Just
We both
PS. Just
lean in.
leaned into
We both leaned in to secretly say it then.
Yeah.
Anyway. The next one I have here is, both of us go, we're not going to tell you, but here's your secret. The next one is the 4 agreements. And this is again back on who you are as well.
Mhm.
Is that be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, which we're now going to do a whole podcast on that.
Yep.
I've written that on my post-it note to the side of this. That'll be a goodie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make assumptions and always do your best. And they're the key ones for they're the key agreements in life.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And so one wee piece that I had added onto that is that when we say just for today, that takes away the overwhelm, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, oh gosh, it's terrible, it's so hard to not take things personally, well, it's just for today. And that then takes away that, oh my God, it's too hard, right?
Yeah. And
Which,
and Moira actually used the words dials down your overwhelm.
yeah,
And I was like, oh, I like that. Like
yes,
anything, dial it down. Yeah.
dialing it down.
Just for
Yes.
today. The next one is trust.
Trust.
Trust, and we know as an inside job, it's all about you. Knowing that every problem has a solution, knowing that there's a way out of everything, knowing that you've been in places before and you've got yourself out. But trust yourself, trust the others, trust the bigger picture.
Yep.
Trust.
Trust that whatever environment or situation you're in it because you can do it. And
Yeah.
maybe it is making an inner change, just simply saying, I've got this, right?
Trust.
Trust. The next one I said, and Deb didn't like this one very much.
Yeah.
About patience. Patience. And this is what I said was change starts at a subtle level. So even if it's just a thought, it still started.
Yeah.
And then you repeat the thought, and it's one step at a time. And that's what I said also when we were talking about that, is that quantum leaps can suddenly show up, but it's because you've been doing the little steps, little steps, little steps, little steps, and then all of a sudden, ta-da, look, there you are.
Yeah.
Right?
It's ever evolving.
It is ever evolving.
Ever evolving.
And if you can enjoy it and be patient and say all in good time, it's all taken care of.
Patience. The next tip I have was actually the word improvement.
Yes.
The word
And
improvement.
like you said, that was funny how long it took you to bring that one in.
I know, that's probably the first it's taken that long. I was like, hang on a minute, let's go back to the improvement. Improvement does imply that you're not perfect the way you are, and we all know we're perfect the way they are. However, listen, however, there is always room for growth. What that growth looks like is about you creating that growth for yourself, or outside influences will create it for you. So you better to improve whatever you have, and just know that there's always a next step. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving, because when you're done, you're done, and there is no improvement or moving forward or backwards. It's done. You're done.
Hmm.
So there's always a place that you can grow on.
But you know that makes me think of like think about teachings of like Abraham Hicks and many other teachings like that about setting intentions and setting goals and following your bliss or following your dreams. The truth is that our experience is all about the journey. It's not the destination. Because once, and I remember reading something about Abraham Hicks talked about that once you've achieved one dream, what's next? Well, there's going to be another one. Because if you ever get to the place of you're done, then you're not living anymore. You're done, right?
You're done.
You're done.
There is no improvement at all.
Right.
In fact, there's no movement.
Yeah. There you go. No improvement, no movement.
Yeah, no movement. Yeah.
The next one I put and it was right after talking about that, was gratitude. So having gratitude, but cultivating a sense of excitement, is that if this is what I've got in my life and the things I get to celebrate and enjoy, what else is possible? And having some curiosity and some sense of play, which actually kind of is in alignment with what I just said too about the life is the journey. The destination is the journey, right?
It is. Life is great when we look at it, when we literally look at it and see the beauty around us. But a lot, I do find it is that doomsday scrolling. I do find it's like, oh, woe is me, woe is me. Don't get involved in that, people.
Yeah, it's not your stuff. Not your stuff.
I've got a tip that I've clearly written down because I've started writing it and haven't finished it. And it says, for me, not against you.
Yeah.
I was clearly talking about how things are for me. Oh, it's flowing. Must be flow.
Well, no, it was when we were talking about challenge and obstacles
Oh,
and turmoil and things of that nature, that is to reset our thinking process to say everything is for me, not against me.
okay. There you go. Moira's clearly filled in my gaps.
Even the challenges. And remember that's when we were talking about the running over your toe, car running over your toe.
Oh yes. I got so animated about that I didn't write the rest of the tip down. But yeah.
Yeah. The next one I have here is that when we are looking at creating inner changes, is to feel into it, to contemplate with a sense of curiosity and a sense of play, of like, oh, what can I do? What's like, I just realized you could even say to yourself, what would the most up-leveled, most advanced level of me at this moment choose? And see what lands. Tap into your intuition. Creating inner changes and allows you to really access that deep well of incredible wisdom that you have within you. We all do. We just don't always take time to tap into it.
No, and that goes back to that trust again, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, the others I've sort of pretty much, that's it. Oh, who is your inner circle?
Yes, the tribe.
Hang on a minute. Who is your inner circle? Debz and Moira, people, if you didn't know who your inner circle was, who Deborah just forgot. Who is your inner circle? Your inner circle is movable and changeable for different dynamics and different people with their personalities. Just so you know. because there's certain friends you'd tell stories to where you wouldn't tell them to other friends.
Yep.
But your inner circle is Debz and Moira, is the deliciously motivated mindset conversation. We are here for you. We have over 80 years experience between us, and we hold energy, space, and we shift you.
We do. We hold space and we give you ideas and support and guidance.
Yeah.
Meet you where you are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And drag you where you want to be. No, not quite. No, just joking. But we are your inner circle. Be aware of that, because we love helping people. We
Mhm.
love helping people level up. We
Yep.
love holding that space and energy. It's what we do. I mean, I'm going to say 7 days a week, because
Pretty
you
much.
can't just sit on the couch and not create a program in your head.
Yep.
Or for me, sit out by the pool and go, oh, I'm just going to doom scroll. Oh, look, there's an idea. And next thing, we've got a new idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are here 7 days a week for you. Moira's got my night shift. I've got her day shift, her night shift. We're covered.
Yep. So
around the
we've
world.
got you covered 24 hours a day. You're good.
You got no excuse. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. And then the last tip. Do you have the last tip?
Yeah, I have the last tip was nothing to fear. So
Yeah.
so even when sometimes people get really scared or fearful about change, but there is nothing to fear. And that's when I like to remind you to just repeat in your head. And sometimes this is all you can do is I've got this. Just I've got this.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you realize you do, and you've shifted through to the other side.
Yeah. And you do, and then you look back and you go, oh, that wasn't as painful as
Yeah,
what
what was I scared about? There's nothing.
thought.
There's nothing.
That was nothing. Yeah. That's what they say about giving birth. They say beforehand, I'm never having children again during the whole process. As soon as it's happened, like a day later, you're like, oh yeah, I'd do it again. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
look
just
at this
forget.
little cherub.
Yeah, look at this little cherub who's got for the rest of my life. Ugh. Yeah, that's right. So that is our deliciously motivated mindset conversation about create inner changes for outer improvement. And we trust you definitely got some value out of that. But you know that I'm going to ask the same question I've come upon my lap is, are you playing life to the biggest and fullest you can ever do? Are you being the leader within you? Are you creating this? So from our beautiful tips today, and there were some solid tips in here.
Mm.
And there were some other ones. Other weren't as solid, but they were there. I know my favorite ones for me. But what's your highest priority action step today, people? What's your highest priority action step that you're going to do today or tonight to achieve this goal that you're going to create this inner change? What is that highest priority action step you're going to do that we've talked about today? And if there's one that we haven't talked about, we would love to know. Throw it in the comments. Let us know if we've missed one. If we've missed one for what it is. But if there's something in here, let us know the one you're going to do for today. That would be super inspiring.
Definitely.
So I want to thank everyone for joining today. Thank you for coming. And the next step for you people is to let us know, what is that one step you're going to do? What is that one step you're going to do? That's Moira and I signing off for today. Thank you, everybody. And you'll hear from us on the next amazing podcast, which will be in a week's time. This one comes out. Other than that, go back and listen to all the other ones. But thank you, Moira.
Thank you, dear Deb.
Today, and thank you for holding space and energy as we are here to create inner changes for our outer improvement.
Most definitely. Thank you, dear Deb. Thank you, Internet. Thank you, listeners, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.